Hey everybody, I'm Jordan
And I'm Kirk.
with PDQ.com. So today we're talking about tools that we got from our customers. A couple months ago, we ran a webcast talking about these are tools that we love. And we got a lot of feedback from our users about tools that they love. And we grabbed a couple of those, figuring we'll highlight those
Sure.
and see what we've been missing out on and hopefully get people started.
Yeah, I am excited for this one. I think there's a lot of great tools that people suggested, and we are taking some more requests today. So if you do have more tools you want to recommend, send them into the channel. Let us know.
Yeah, we can get started with, I think, Bitwarden.
Yeah, let's
Before
start
we
with
do that,
Bitwarden.
can we move our screen capture off that so they don't want to type a password?
super secret password. Come on.
You don't want to
Kirk,
share the
try it.
password?
I don't. I'm just happy I typed it in my first
Okay.
attempt.
There
It's
we
out of
go.
character for
And
me.
actually, I think I have to type it. I have to type it one more time. Hang on, I have to put it in the
It's
add-on.
my
as well.
brother Jordan. My brother Jordan is so cool.
Is
with
a
no spaces.
butthead.
Okay, passwords are in. We can go back.
All right, we can bring it back. All right, there we go.
So Bitwarden is a password manager, and historically I've been a LastPass guy. This one came in, and assessing it, I got to tell you that Bitwarden impressed me quite a bit. It is a good solution. So if you want it, you go to bitwarden.com, you click sign up. The sign up process is very easy. Once you're signed up, you sign into your vault. You can create several types of records. They have login, a credit card, identity, and a secure note. And we've done one example of each. We have a fake credit card. Cardholder is cash McSpender. Sounds like it's not a very good person to assign the card to me, but you input the number, it's hidden. These are not real numbers, so you can try to use them, but you're just going to have bad news. But in addition to your credit card, you can have an email account. This is one, I didn't actually create this for Gmail, but from both the add-on and the web page, if you click the launch button, it will open the new window and take you to the website. So if you hit sign in, it will automatically populate. If you're on the right domain, it will populate information. But I'm not going to try to sign in because it's not a real account. But if I did, it populates the fields.
I want to know if someone has notreal@gmail.com and if we start emailing them.
I don't know.
I want to make them regret stealing our fantastic idea.
There's one way to find out. We also have an identity, fake identity, a doctor, not a real person. And, the company is PDQ Chicken, the fake PDQ, as I call it.
That's fair.
I put all the personal information in there.
So, and here's where I think you've lost me. I like this one a lot too, but the phone number is dots instead of dashes,
Correct.
and I don't care for that.
You want dashes instead?
Oh, you can define.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a preference. I put in dots, but if you want dashes, and
I have seniority, and I'm making a ruling.
okay,
Dashes.
we're going to go ahead and save that update.
Power
you.
play.
And the last one is that you can have a secure note. This one is a secure information that should not be shared, especially in a webcast. So let's not let anyone know that Jordan is a nerd.
I think that's pretty clear. That's
Who
not a
has seniority now?
But yes, but if you from the vault, you can go to the get the app section, and you can get a local client for your desktop. My preference with password managers is to use the add-ons for the web browser, and they even have a command line tool, which I didn't get to play with, but it is intriguing.
So we have a blog coming out from Andrew.
Yeah.
He's writing about PowerShell secrets, which is basically how you can use PowerShell to connect to password vaults like this to make more secure when you're running scripts outline. So instead of having clear text, it connects to your vault that way.
Yeah.
I was actually supposed to pre-read it and give my thoughts this morning, and I didn't. But soon that will be out there. So if you're looking you think this is cool and you'd like your PowerShell script to be able to use it, we're going to have information on there to make it pretty powerful.
Yeah, and that's basically it for password managers. Most of our viewers are probably going to be familiar with them, but if you're not using one, I feel strongly that you should. The next software up is multi-tab PuTTy. And that's probably not going to be sized right. It isn't.
Yeah. So in the first one, we went over PuTTy, which I believe we have a old session still stored in there.
We do.
Let us know if we have to pull away for password protection, guys.
I don't think we have to in this
Okay.
one. The sessions are pre-saved. So,
We're going to drop a lot of IP addresses, but
yeah. So, there's a couple IPs
That's an
that you'll
Austin
see.
problem.
These are Linode machines that won't exist for very much longer. So, from PuTTy, the import sessions, this bacon, everyone loves bacon, PuTTy too. It was included. I didn't configure that.
we use that for our example for PuTTy
Yeah.
in the first run.
But for multi-tab PuTTy, if you've used PuTTy by itself before, you have to do a new window for each session, and that can be a little laborious to manage. But in this case, we just double click, and there's a CentOS 9 machine and a Debian 11 machine, and it just connects, and you can run the uptime command on them. And it still supports like copy paste. PuTTy, if you highlight it, it copies it, and then you just right click to paste it. I don't know if it didn't, but yeah. You can see these haven't been up very long.
So this is kind of like remote desktop viewer, which you can do multi-tabs for window remote sessions, only this one works with Linux.
Yeah, and this is a piece of software. This is the one that has the license of free for any use. It does one thing, and it does it really well. Moving on to the next one that I'm going to cover, it's MRemoteNG. So if you wanted a mixed environment that supports both PuTTy and RDP, MRemoteNG could be a better choice.
Real quick, are you just going to run through all yours? We're not going to...
No, I'm not sharing
go
the
back.
mouse.
Right.
When you hand over control of something, it means I'm in charge.
Yeah, so who cares about what's been established?
That was on you.
Yeah.
I was wondering when the brothers were going to start fighting.
Oh, right away. It's important that we
It
fight.
happened.
I say we have a system. It works pretty well. I don't want to...
So for MRemoteNG, it's very similar, but this one we have one Windows client, and it's going to look really close to the same. If I connect to the Linux client, it's going to use PuTTy. And for both of these solutions, PuTTy is a requirement. MRemoteNG does use PuTTy for these sessions, but you can also go to Windows via RDP. You can use VNC if you want to use that. So for me, if I wanted an all-in-one tool, it'd be MRemoteNG. But if I had a reason to keep my RDP sessions separate, multi-tab PuTTy is simple and clean and does its job very well. But these are amazing tools if you're a sysadmin. I've used MRemoteNG in my work life many times, and it does add value to your day.
So based on the chat, your read on MRemoteNG is agreed upon. It seems pretty popular in there.
Yeah, I really liked it. As far as straight PuTTy, it's an improvement from straight PuTTy. And now that I'm all the way done, you can
now
have
that I can have it?
Yeah.
All right. I don't want you to work on or worry about everything that you just changed without even worrying about it.
I just closed Windows. I thought I minimized them. They should come back. Oh, no, I really made it harder on you.
And we got this. So the first one that I got, this one was recommended for Power Automate, and actually they followed up with me a couple weeks after to see if I tested it, and I hadn't. And I regret it. Because this best way I can describe it, it's like enterprise level, if this, then that. Where you can put all kind of automation in your systems. The one I have up here is the desktop. There's also a web client version, which I guess we'll show that real quick. Where these are all of the connectors. This one's not free. It requires an account. I think it's $15 per user. I'm not sure if that counts, like if they have just a regular 365 account, if that's included in it or not, or if it's $15 on top of it. Or if you want access to all of their different connectors, which there are a ton, that's $40 per user, or it's $100 for 5 workflows.
Yeah, so it's not cheap, but it's powerful.
It's not cheap, but the learning curve is incredibly steep on this. But if you spend the time on it, you can automate just about anything. I'll build one that's going to be nonsense.
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll quit, but just for fun. So
I'm
we're
a big fan of
gonna put
nonsense.
it. Every time I hit a key, something's going to happen. Let's see, mouse and keyboard. Wait for shortcut key. I hope that's right. I remembered it all yesterday. And in my test, I used home as the key, but we don't have a home key on this keyboard. So we're going to use delete, which I think opens up, if you want to mess with someone, this opens up a lot of avenues.
It really, I'm excited for the opportunities of inter-office hijinks.
Right. So for all you're going to do is have anytime someone hits the delete key, it's going to run a PowerShell script.
Okay.
Which I could rewrite it manually, or I can copy and paste what I already wrote.
Now, Jordan,
Yes.
does it overwrite the delete key, or does it do the delete key process plus running this PowerShell?
It's going to run the key and then kick off whatever you want it to run there. So delete is not an ideal choice unless you really want to mess with someone.
So an ideal choice.
I might as well just go right mouse click.
Yeah, that would be also encouraging fun.
So I set this one to run. So I think your idea was to have it kick up Clippy.
I wanted to map it to Clippy, saying it looks like you're trying to delete something, but not let you delete it until your office mate throws their keyboard. So I think it could be done.
Yeah. All right. So now we've got this running. I'm gonna hit delete here. Goes down and runs it. And dancing He-Man.
Nice.
It's the
Every time you hit delete.
every time you hit delete.
What could go wrong?
So I'm gonna go ahead and stop. Oh, it stopped itself. Okay. But that's just. I mean, that's obviously that one's just for fun.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to remove everything.
But that does really showcase the power, though, of what you can do with automation with this
so
tool.
The desktop one works everything within the desktop. You can do just about everything. It even actually has one where it it records what you did on your screen and it will just repeat that.
Yeah.
It's just the options are pretty much endless. You can do anything. For the web one, it works more on, what am I thinking? The cloud.
Yes, the mythical cloud.
The cloud. And they have a whole bunch of pre-built templates just to give you a quick idea what you can do. But and this one would have been massive for my time at the mortgage company. And it's, if an email comes in that has a PDF attachment, it will automatically pull that attachment and put it into whether it's Google Drive or wherever you're storing those. So it's a great way to, I guess, make your desktop a little bit cleaner, not so large, and just remove a lot of the manual clicking. I've barely scratched the surface on this one, but I think if you spend time on this might be one of the most powerful things I've ever used. You could automate everything with this. Yeah. I love it. I can't. I wish I had tried it when they first told me about it because I'm amazed.
Well, great.
Right. So I guess we'll go on. Do we have any questions before we go to the next one? Or?
Yeah, let's actually grab a question.
All right.
Did not stop for any questions.
Hey guys, any chance we'll see the free tools from today that aren't already in the package library show up in the package library sometime soon? Sincerely, the mighty Tim.
So normally if they're free and we don't have them in the package library, it's because they have limits on distribution. Like we have to go through that company, get permission to distribute, then we can build it out. So if some of them, we can reach out if we haven't, but a lot of those ones, it's not that we don't want to, it's we're breaching their rules if we do it. That's where the templates that we put in place recently would be really handy. We could probably build a template for a couple of these if we can't. But you still have to provide the download, the install media, but everything else.
Yeah, so if it's not pre-existing for a license, then a user can build a template and deploy it themselves.
Yep.
That's great.
Do we have a URL for package library requests?
I think we do. I just don't know off the top of my head. We probably should be sharing that, though. That'd be pretty useful.
That would be great to know. If we have one, we will share it out.
Put it
I'll
down
put that in the
the
description
comments.
later.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. You want to take another one or move on?
Well, we could take another question.
Okay.
All right, let's go one more. This is more product related. Guys, I use 2 locations to deploy software. One is the repository, one a network share. I use push for the repository. Can I use pull for the other file share at the package level without issue? Russell K.
So for using the file share, you can manually change where it's pointed for the package for that one, but any auto download, if it's a package you want to update, it's going to download to the repo by default. So probably the easiest way, since we use not per license but per admin, if it's that different, you can have both those up, and then the repo one's to network share, one's to the other one you want it, and that would give you some more customization. If you're not worried about auto updating the packages, you can manually change the package itself to be that, and then just set it to push or pull. It should be fine, but if you're looking for both of those to auto update, it might be better to have 2 different instances of deploy.
Right on. Okay. Shall we move on?
I wish I feel like there could be, Lex would have crushed that.
He probably would have, yeah. I think that his presence will be missed pretty steeply because I'm so new to the products that whenever they ask questions, I just stare at you blankly.
which is good. That's where we want to go. So the next one we're going over was process monitor. And there we go.
This is one of the more technical ones.
So for me, if I'm being completely honest, I think I didn't delete our filters while testing. Let me get those going real quick.
Nobody noticed. It's okay.
There's nothing in there. Yeah. So this is a very powerful tool if you need to do a deep dive into what's causing the problem.
Yeah.
My thought process was, in most places I'm at, if we get to the point where you're doing this deep of a dive, you're just going to re-image anyway.
Re-imaging is so easy now.
It's very quick. Yeah. But if it's something, there's a machine you can't, or there's a reason you want to, or if you think there's maybe a bad faith actor that has access to that machine, this will help you track it down. It tracks registry, file, network, access. We have this one just set to registry, but if you click all of them, the reason it gets so busy so quick is it's an active monitor. It's just going to keep on growing as it goes. Every time there's a new event, it's just going to add it to it. So initially it's overwhelming. It just throws data at you.
It's just tailing the system's event logs and bringing the information to you in a more usable format.
Yeah, but it is pretty handy where if you're looking to fine tune, like we suspect something there, or we think we know the root cause of what might be causing an issue, you can come into, like, if we want to just only process name PDQ inventory, just come in there, we can just include that one, and that's going to eliminate everything but that one. So it's pretty easy to fine tune.
Narrow it down to just your
Narrow
target
down to
app.
just what you're looking for. So if there's a issue that it's you're not even sure exactly what it is, but you have kind of an idea, this tool is going to help you track it down. It gives so much data that it feels overwhelming, but it's going to give you exactly what you need.
Yeah.
And then we got right click, and then we can just do like edit filter if we wanted only after is more than a certain time. That's going to make it so we're not worried about old events so much as you can capture new ones. And you can just go for each one. You could just build out pretty robust filters. You can really highlight. If we did like a reg, like you're looking to write to registry, every time if I right clicked and I locked the taskbar like that, that would pop up in there. It's just things like that. It's I don't think I've been in a situation where I would be using this in my career, but it's just so powerful. If you really need to track down something and re-imaging it is an option, this is going to help you find whatever might be a problem.
Yeah. And it hasn't been an issue in recent versions like it used to be, but application compatibility, you deploy an app and there would be a problem with it. This would be a great way to run down what's going on with a specific application, especially in early implementation.
Yeah, or if someone, let's say, Jordan installed software that wasn't on security's approved list, Bobby might use this to find out why I'm in trouble.
Yeah, he'll let you know.
Well, we know why I'm in trouble, but how I'm in trouble. I have read on this one that if you keep it running, it can bog down some systems. I haven't seen that myself, but it's just something to keep. It's not something to keep running all the time, I don't think.
Yeah, well, I'd want to know if it holds all that in memory, because if that keeps paging to memory as the event log grows, there is a point where you'll start page filing, and that would impact your system.
Yep. Oh, and that was something I actually didn't showcase that I thought was pretty cool. Bring it back up here. Is if we have those events, you can just right-click it and go to stack, and it's going to pull up the event that created the thing, the process, and then the full stack of everything that's been touched by it.
Very nice.
So for each individual entry, you can quickly pull up a lot of useful information. Just being able to see the process of the event is probably going to whittle out quite a bit of the troubleshooting as well. So it's incredibly powerful. I never had cause to deep dive into it, but now I know if I ever had to, I will definitely be using that tool. And that's from sysinternals. It's free to everyone, just like all the sysinternals are. It's definitely one taking a look at if you have to do a lot of deep diagnostics. All right, we got a question?
Hey, Jordan and Kirk, are there any Intune rules or configurations that we need to avoid for our PDQ to stay happy? Sincerely, James Dean? Whoa, that's pretty cool.
So Intune rules will enforce compliance for systems, and I believe it will require actually an Azure AD license for Intune to work. I don't know if Intune can work in hybrid. We'll have to do research on that. I don't know, Jordan, how does PDQ deploy control configurations, and do you see a possible conflict there?
So there are certain ports that have to be open. There are a couple of things that PDQ absolutely needs to function. I think Brig has a really good documentation of everything that PDQ needs to run. As long as Intune isn't messing with any of those features, it should be fine. I'm not familiar enough with Intune to do a deep dive, but there's just, I can't remember the exact port. There's 3 or 4 ports that have to be open and a couple of things that have to be set a certain way for our product to work ideally. As long as Intune doesn't mess with those, deploy should be fine.
Yeah. Maybe that's a blog idea, Kelly. Throw that one down. Intune and PDQ deploy. If we can play around and see if they work together and what we need to be aware of.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be fun for me to test it out. I've never used it before.
That would be an enjoyable week for me, so let's look at it.
All right.
You want one more?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Gentlemen, what version of VNC is in use in PDQ Inventory? Sincerely, D, and D.
I was curious how to pronounce that name when I saw it in chat.
Just like it's spelled.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
You did a great job. I would have missed.
Are we talking about for the tool here, the Control-V where it runs VNC specifically?
I think he's asking about the version in the package library. If you were to push it out, what version would you get?
Well, let me just open this up real quick just to see the tool. There's got to be an edit, right? There we go. That doesn't help me at all. So for the tool itself, I don't know if anything listed. I don't know off the top of my head which one it's using. If we're looking for within the package library, that'd be a quick test of this VNC. We offer, looks like tight or ultra VNC. I don't know if those are the ones that inventory uses for that custom tool.
Yeah, he's saying yes in tools.
So if you click on either of those, tight or ultra, is there a version information?
For the ultra, well, they're saying it was for the one that was in tool. Unfortunately, it doesn't even mention required software. I wish I should probably know that one.
Yeah.
For the tool, I will ask our support, and then if you want to shoot me an email or shoot support an email, we can get that one answered. I'm just not sure exactly what VNC. I don't see where it's listed anywhere where I know which one it's using.
You know, I like that question, and I think it opens up the door for a feature request that shows license versions quickly in the tool menu. So we should consider doing that.
Absolutely. Yeah, sorry, I don't. We can track that one down. Put in a ticket, and we'll find out. I just don't have a great answer off the top of my head for that one.
Yeah.
All right. The last tool that we talked about, and this one doesn't have a specific install, or like an install. It's a Chocolatey or Winget, which these are package management options. It's one of those. They do some similar things to PDQ. I don't think they're direct competitors. I think it's a better together.
Yeah.
We offer different things, and they both work. So we'll try Chocolatey first.
I do like the name Chocolatey.
It is good, and it's also been around the longest time. Remember when I told you at the pre-show I was sizing my windows? Apparently not.
Yeah, I think that may have been the new guy. Let's blame him. What an idiot.
All right, so Chocolatey, the install this one, they just have a PowerShell commandlet. It's on their website. I grabbed it here. I removed the bypass section that they have where it runs PowerShell as bypass, just because if we were deploying this with our product, we use bypass by default. But if you just use the install string from their website, it's going to go through and install Chocolatey for you pretty quick. And I gotta say, I never did a lot with Chocolatey, but I'm a fan of everything that it does. One of the things that's kind of a gotcha. Any package you install with Chocolatey, it's going to be either machine or user based on what the package is. Where with our products, I think we try to go mostly machine-based installs, where that's not guaranteed with Chocolatey. So if you're going to be using Chocolatey and you don't want user-based or just user installs, you're going to want to test the package out before, make sure it's going to the machine before you send that one out.
Yeah.
But just to see what's in there, we can do just real quick. Choco. There we go. And then I believe it's just show. And we'll look for PowerShell. I hope it's show. I'm trying to do that from memory. I'm going to look.
Could not
No,
find the
it's
command.
fine.
I think it's not show.
Show might be Winget. I'm mixing my Wingets with my Chocolateys here. So this is going to find all packages that list PowerShell. As you can see, that's pretty.
Yeah, 261 packages found.
That's pretty rough. So that's a lot. I mean, they're not all specifically PowerShell, but they all touch on PowerShell. But so if there's one, and I found this one earlier, we're going to go over. It's just a PowerShell module to install. It's called Pester. It's using PowerShell. If you write a module or code, this is a pre-built structure to help you write tests for that to make sure it's working.
Okay.
So we just do not Chocolatey, just C, short for install, INST, and then we're going to do Pester, and I believe -Y, so we don't have to confirm. Install Pester on this one. I'll finally start testing my code. I know it seems like everything I write just works.
You know where I test all my code?
In production.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing right now. And that's just a quick way. That's just a one-line command that you can install Pester. But if for some reason you're sending Pester out to all your environments in there, you'd have to include the line up here in the PowerShell to install Chocolatey on the remote machine, and then the second line would just do the Pester, and that would allow you to install Pester on the remote machine. So even though we don't have it in our library, you can combine it with our tools to install it remote to get what they need.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's a better together situation where you can leverage Chocolatey or Winget and PDQ Deploy to simplify management.
And Winget is also a little bit complex because they're very specific on this one. They wanted it to be command line. So most stuff anymore comes out with Microsoft. It's already built in. It's going to work with PowerShell. Winget's a command line tool. It works differently. There's no import module to get that one in there. You have to go in and get it either from the GitHub or you can go to the Microsoft Store and download it. Or if you want to use PowerShell, there's actually within the GitHub, it's just install WinGit, which is going to go out and install the latest version of WinGit with PowerShell, which...
So is that 3 ways to install it easily?
Yep, 3 ways. I prefer this one because I'm all about PowerShell, and this is one where we could deploy it out with our product as well if we wanted WinGit on their machine. And WinGit is mostly... It doesn't have the robust library that Chocolatey has, but it's mostly things that you might find in a Windows Store. WinGit's easy to get it. It's kind of... It's similar to what Apex package, the command line, and PowerShell is just command line where it's a bit easier for developers to use.
I'm a big fan of command line tools, especially as an admin. Point and click is great for quick and easy convenience, but if you're doing anything at scale, command line's where you go with it.
So for how we get this one installed, it can be a simple one-liner if you're not worried about what version you're getting.
Yeah.
But running this one without, I just remove the function here. The first line is testing if WinGit's already installed, because you don't want to install it if it's already installed. The next one's looking at the latest releases within the GitHub for WinGit. And then from there, it's grabbing whatever the latest release is that has MSIX bundle, because that's the install string. And then from there, it's the browser download URL. And this is what will do the actual install.
All right.
So it's just add Apex package, which we're just talking about as kind of a thing. And this will let you install it on remote users where you can then use WinGit for remote. But this is another one where the package you're installing, you're going to want to know if it's user-based or machine-based. If it's user-based, you're going to want to have it in the package run as logged-on user, and it will only install for them. If it's machine-based, you can just send it as normal, and everyone will get it. So with all of these, it just do some testing. I mean, it's going to install just fine, but just know which instance it's installing so you can track it down the best way possible with that. On this one, I already have WinGit installed, so I'm not going to showcase the install, but just that command there for that GitHub will get it for you. But it's WinGit that has show.
Let's find out.
And then now that Lex isn't here and it's no longer funny when there's typos, we're going to actually see if we can find Grammarly.
I rely on Grammarly heavily.
It was built into who he was that we had that one. So I just did this one show. Grammarly does exist. There's for Office 365 or for Windows are both available.
Yeah. And so this will install Grammarly, and then all of your clients will be able to sign in with their credentials.
So, check my notes. Yeah, so the first one is the show. This was just to find it. So if I wanted to do it, it would just be WinGit install and then Grammarly. Wouldn't it be funny if I misspelled Grammarly?
I think, yeah.
And then I'm just going to do the dash question mark because there's agreements you have to accept, or else it's just going to fail on this one. There's the package agreements and the source agreements. You want to accept both of those, otherwise it's not going to work so well remotely for you. I'm just going to copy and paste because I'm terrible at typing.
Why is Grammarly pronounced Grammarly and not Grammarly?
Well, I'm wondering why we didn't use it when Lex was here. That would have saved us so much trouble.
Watching Lex squirm as he types was funny to me.
Okay.
That's a long ongoing running gag.
I just wanted to be clear. That's all.
There it goes.
An example. All right. So now typos are the thing of the past. If your caps lock is on, we're going to know about it.
Yeah, that's what Grammarly is. The best thing. It tells me you're typing in all caps. It reminds me.
So, and I think Grammarly has a sign up for free one, but and I don't know. I'm not going to sign up for that or log into that. I've typed in enough passwords into Open Webcast.
Let's not do that again.
Yeah. And that's just a quick way. So that's just kind of 2 examples. Those are 2 products that perform a similar function to PDQ but work differently. And I think using them with PDQ it's a better together. It's fantastic. And I think that's the 6 we covered.
That's the 6.
Yeah, do we have any other questions that came in?
Oh, we're going to do a speed round.
Oh, all right.
Boy.
So buckle yourselves in, boys. Here we go.
Getting ready for this.
Hey, Kirk and Jordan, can PDQ easily mainstream remote updates and installations over VPN? Sincerely, Samuel H.
So with VPNs, easily is subjective. With VPN, there's a lot of times that there's a chance for DNS issues that makes it so our product doesn't work in its ideal form. As long as they are connected to the VPN and Deploy or Inventory can see it, it absolutely can do those updates. The push or pull is a good one to look at there. If depending on their bandwidth, we want to push it out to them or have them pull it down, which way works best. But as long as your VPN is working to where the machine when it's on the VPN checks into inventory, updating is the package will be automatically updated. You can set it on the schedule update for you.
So I'm really new to PDQ products like that. I have a few questions for you. So it requires DNS to work properly.
Yes.
So if I get on the VPN and my system can't resolve back to the PDQ servers, then that has to be resolved before it's going to work.
Yeah. The major component is DNS. If there's stale records, the DNS has to be on point to get. I mean, our product works great almost all the time, but the better your DNS is, the better our product is.
Yeah. And you mentioned another solution, which I think for VPN might be better. It's called pull. My client can reach out because it'll know the DNS of the server, even if the server can't reach back to it.
Well, pull is just how it gets the install file to the machine.
Okay.
Push or pull. It still has to connect from our product. So either way,
So pull can't get around the DNS requirements.
it cannot. No,
So you have to test DNS that it works well on the VPN, and if that works well, then PDQ should work well too.
And as we found, if it's a very active VPN, there just ends up being a lot of stale records, which can cause the problem. That's where a lot of issues come from.
Okay.
As long as that's cleaned up, I don't see any problem with update happening.
So I think
how's that for a speed round?
The definitive answer is possibly with good DNS.
Not very.
Not very. I was going to say, let me reiterate.
Speed round. Okay.
I had questions.
And Jordan answered them quickly.
He did. That was like a 3 questions for 1 time slot.
There
I thought
you
it was
go.
effective.
It's a 3 for 1. Hey guys, you do Power Automate videos kind of like you are doing with PowerShell. Mark B.
What a great idea.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I would love to go in and play with Power Automate.
That sounds like a yes to me.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's. We're going to see if it's possible.
Yes. The whole point of our videos is, I mean, a lot of it is on our products because we like our products, we use them. But the PowerShell's not on our products, and those are useful.
We like to help in general.
If Power Automate, if that's something where we can come up with something we think is pretty cool, I think it would be awesome to do a video on that.
I think Jordan just found a new hobby.
All right.
All right.
And also was successful in the speed round.
Very nice.
Oh, nice dig.
Dear Jordan and Kirk, is there a way to connect PDQ's dollar repository share as an application store in MDT? Currently having to update both and is a bit redundant. Sincerely, Mike P.
I'll go ahead and grab this one. Jordan, what do you think?
Well, I don't have a better answer for you. That is something I have not tested. So we want to connect to the PDQ's repository share. I mean, the repository share is just it's a normal folder, like file system. So if you can connect MDT to it, it should be fine. I just haven't dealt with that enough to give a definitive on that one. It's because the repository isn't anything specifically within PDQ Deploy. It's just, it's a folder path on where we're saving all the files when they download. So if there's a way to connect those, it should be fine. I just don't know enough about MDT to give the how.
I have a question for you. What is the MDT acronym for?
I have no idea.
Okay, so because I can't, For me, I'm well out of my
Most
comfort
delightful.
So in the
Thank
chat, Tim McCabe says it is possible with PowerShell. Now I feel real bad. I don't know.
Zone. All right, it sounds like you've got some work to do. Another blog post coming up.
Yeah. So it looks like the MDT has its own commandlets. So if you can run PowerShell commands to connect that one.
Microsoft Deployment Toolkit. Thank you,
okay.
chat. You bailed
Thank
me
you.
out.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we didn't even know what it was, so that's why we couldn't give an answer.
Yeah.
But it sounds like if they have a CLI and PowerShell can connect to it, it absolutely is possible. I'm going to look into that.
All right, so
Is
far-
everyone taking notes on what I'm researching on this one? Because I feel like I got a lot of homework.
You've committed to a lot of work. I agree.
Tim is actually winning in the point count right now. So
All right.
Good job, Tim. I hope you come out on top today. I'm pulling for
Sorry,
Tim.
I'm not keeping track.
that's all right. Guys, we have 2 auto-downloaded packages for monthly updates, one with a reboot command in post steps, one without. This doubles up disk space. Any way to reuse the same files in cases like this? Sincerely, Elmo F.
So I think
Elmo's
with
fire.
the auto deployment, if you have 2, it's going to download both. I mean, ideally, is it downloading both packages? I don't think it should do that because it's downloading the file, but it's going to the same location of the repo, which means it would be an overwrite, not a duplicate. Or am I misunderstanding how that works?
I'm still way too new to be a benefit here. I wish I could be of more help, but
Well, I can use Lex as a phone a friend.
Yeah.
So on that one, if it is duplicating, unfortunately, there's not. I'm assuming your reboot step you're putting down as a post step in one of them.
yeah.
And if that's something where it's downloading both of them. I don't know of a way to remove that duplicate data. Oh, it's based on package name, so it has to be the same name, so it does double. Thank you. Thank you in the chat again. They're crushing. I'm doing terrible.
Yeah.
So
David
unfortunately,
on the board, David and Tim are now in a dead heat for top spot.
yeah. So unfortunately, with that one, where you have the post step that whether it does the reboot or not, it is something that functions differently. There's no way to make that a single entity that I know about. You can't name them the same thing. So I don't know of a way to not double up the disk usage on that.
All right, we have a few questions left in the speed round.
I'm taking a long time to not answer any of these.
Guys, can we set dollar repositories to a system variable like nerd, blah, blah, blah? Marcel L.
I mean, I believe it. So you're taking the repository variable of itself and pointing the variable to a variable? I mean, that should work. And I just don't understand why. If you build a custom variable within the product, you can use that anywhere, and it should. Let's actually test instead of guessing. How's that?
Yeah.
Go to the repo. Yep, you can use any custom variable you have right in there, and put it in there. Apparently, I missed that one. So yes, you can use your custom variables within there to change that. I just don't know where that would get value instead of just having the repo itself.
Yeah. So it's possible, but we don't understand the use case for it.
Marcel will probably email you later, Jordan.
Absolutely.
All right, Jordan and Kirk, is it possible to send a PDQ deploy job to one collection, and when the job is complete for each computer in that collection, kick off another job to a different collection? Thanks, Nancy T.
The best way I can think to do that would be nested packages, where you go through. Apparently, didn't save my preferences, which is probably best. So you have a nested package where it runs each one individually, where you could have error action if it doesn't do what you're looking for. If you're looking for it to kick off automatically, the only way I could think to do that is to have both those packages on a pretty aggressive schedule, with a schedule checked to not run after already successful. And then at the end of one package, you're going to want to put a result somewhere, whether it's a file or some way to indicate that the other one was complete. And then the next one will kick off based on a collection of whatever you marked it down. So it's going to require some customization on your side, but it absolutely is possible.
Nice. So you're on the board now. You're in a dead heat.
I got one.
Yeah.
He got one. And our final question of the day, can I change user passwords in Outlook profile using PDQ? Sincerely, KFR.
So
is this doesn't Outlook just use their domain credentials?
I think it does. When you sign into your email, it authenticates and then builds a profile from there. I'm not aware of a separate password that's in Outlook.
Yeah. So we don't track a lot of user information on that. It's more of we track machines.
Yeah.
If you could do a currently logged on user for the machine, and based on that name, run just a PowerShell against that, where you can do that reset, but we don't really track a lot of user information within Deploy or Inventory.
Yeah.
But if their name is somewhere, like if you have a custom variable for the machine where it has that their username in there or the actively logged on, you can write a tool that would connect to the Active Directory and reset based on that variable. It's just the username is going to have to be manually put there by you, or you have to hope they're currently logged on.
Yeah. So when you do
Can you
a
do it with the
reset,
PowerShell scanner?
With the PowerShell scanner, that's not going to grab any different for the logged on user than we already pull from inventory. If we run a PowerShell scanner to grab whoever's currently logged on, that's already going to be in inventory if you're updated on the scan.
All right.
But overall, instead of run it remotely, that's going to be like a local tool, because you're going to be running the 80 tools, the 80 module in Active Directory, which requires some setup. So you're going to want that run that locally on your domain control, where you have the 80 tools ready to go, so the command that's going to import, and then you just have to be able to grab the user from either a custom variable or from logged on.
Nice.
Is that you said no more questions?
Yep.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
fantastic.
that's an outro.
Well, we bombed those questions. Thanks to the chat for bailing us out.
Yeah.
a
The
whole
chat
bunch.
came in big today.
All right. So hopefully there's some awesome tools. We both found one that we love. You love Bitwarden.
Yeah.
I thought Power Automate was one of the most powerful. I love it. Hopefully you guys get a chance to dive in and use a bunch of these yourselves.
Yeah, I'm a fan of MRemoteNG as well, but I've used it prior to the suggestion. It's a great tool.
For PDQ.com, I'm Jordan.
And I'm Kirk.
Thanks for joining our webcast today. Congratulations, Mike P. and Mark B., winners of PDQ swag. Send us your info at webcast@pdq.com. If you enjoyed what you saw today, please feel free to like and subscribe to our page. It would make us smile. Have a fantastic week, and we'll see you back here next time.